Attention! Go!
Drawn out strokes, and now they're really going to accelerate the stroke rate. They want to clear their puddles as soon as they possibly can to show that they're on maximum boat speed.
Yeah, those puddles, beautiful word for it, isn't it? They're kind of what you all leaves behind in the water, the swirl of the power that you've applied, but getting clear of those so that you're putting your oar into clean water. Look at Laga here, really nice start, smooth start. What are you looking at when you're looking for good technique in a crew here, Adrian?
For me, just the accuracy of the front end and how quickly they're getting onto the work.
So that's when the front end is when they put the oar in the water.
Yeah. And it's all back to front most of the time in rowing, isn't it? They're rowing at their longest, they're reaching their furthest, and the blade goes in. That's considered the front end of the stroke, just the beginning of your drive phase. And they've very quickly gone out to a length against Southampton.
So here's Southampton University, tall order for them, but they're super focused, aren't they? And well, they've got away really quite nicely, quite lively for them.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're rowing really nicely. They're really quiet with their bodies. They're not throwing their weight around when they're recovering. And the blade work's really accurate.
So Southampton University, coached by Charles Evans, with Hilary Lunn at stroke, Daniel Hodsworth at 7, Matthew Tremeling at 6, Samuel Burlington Horton at 5, Alexander Russell at 4, Thomas Bodley at 3, Toby Honey at 2, and Bow Oliver Taylor. And well, Bow Oliver Taylor might be the only person in the boat who can get a sense of where the Laga crew is now out of the corner of his eye. And we look at their red oars as the Dutch start to stretch away.
You see how precise the blades are when they go in. They're vertical and they go straight in. And also here on the riggers, you can see all those cables twisting around, and then there's a little display on the boat.
Yeah, and what's that all about?
That's basically a strain gauge, so they can see what wattage they're producing. So they'll have rehearsed, and they know in order to do the best 2,100 meter race, I need to produce X number of watts down the whole course.
And this kind of innovation's relatively recent in the last sort of 10 to 20 years. I know you've been close to some of this, Adrian. What difference does it make as an athlete to have that kind of data?
I think it can be good and bad. Sometimes you find people just focus on just the power when actually a lot of the boat speed comes from the recovery as well. But it does mean you can, once you're rowing well, you know what your pacing should be. You know, a lot of people have been using it in cycling for a very long time. You know what your capacity is. You can pace it properly once you've got that nailed down. So it means if you're half a length down and you're on the right wattage, you know you can be confident that you're doing the right thing.
Well, no problem for Laga in that department at the moment. Beautiful evening. Look at that flat water. It's really quieting down now. One of the advantages of rowing into the evening at Henley is you can often get these really lovely conditions. As they pass our camera and look down the track towards the halfway mark, that's D.S.R Laga, steered by Floor Steeman, who's had a couple of experiences at Henley already. Competed in the Temple Cup for Laga previously.
So you're talking again about the cover, but you can see as the crews are going along here that the blades of the 2 7 and 6 7 stroke man are going into clean water. They're not dipping into the puddles of this bow and stroke bow and 2 man.
Yeah, so if I'm looking at that, what I'm seeing is that there's almost a continuous sequence of those puddles in the water, and they don't drop into the puddles. They are making their marks into fresh water as they go. Beautiful shot. We often get Dutch crews rowing really well. There's something about the Dutch system that really produces these lovely fluid boats where people move much more in sympathy with the boat, not slowing it down when the blades are out of the water, but then applying the power in a really efficient way.
Yeah, we can see here as they're getting further away, they're dropping the rate a little bit, and we start to get this thing what they call chaining, whereas the next set of puddles goes in as if it was the same, it's basically the same gap all the way through.
Yeah, look at that. You can see the puddles starting to disappear, but you're absolutely right. It's like a continuous sequence, like a conveyor belt of watts that are being pushed down the river by all of those 8 pairs of legs from D.S.R and from the Netherlands, and then behind here on the right of the picture, Southampton University. Well, it's been a tall order for them, but they are continuing to push all the way down the track, giving it everything.
Yeah, they really are. They're just doing their best effort on it. They've got a chance to row in the regatta. You know, what a great day to have a race. I mean, you like to have a race that maybe you think you have a chance of winning, but having qualified, also getting to know race against some of the best crews is also a great experience.
Yeah, there we go. So there's looking through the Laga crew in the golden Henley sunshine, really focused, loose, relaxed and long, as Adrian was calling it. And well, there's the view of the remaining sort of 500 or 600 metres of the course for Southampton, fewer for Laga.
That's a fabulous view, isn't it?
This is
the
why
greenery everywhere, and just how straight that course is. When you come down here in the winter, none of this wood, none of the booms, anything exists. They just build it all here.
Absolutely. The Henley course has really been the course that originated the sort of 2,000-metre distance that's our international standard. Long straight stretch of river that we dug out the channel by the island to make it even straighter some years ago, and that allows us to have this fantastic side-by-side racing. You don't see it anywhere else in the world quite like this. And that's why D.S.R Laga has come here to compete again, see if they can put their names on the Temple Challenge Cup for student eights. Really competitive event is the Temple Challenge Cup. 72 entries, and only 32 get to race, so half the competitors already gone out. And this first round is really closely fought, but not by Laga, who've really been setting the standard all the way down this track.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen from some of the input and the sort of ergo scores they've put, they've got some very powerful athletes in that boat, and the fact that they're rowing well has made this really quite sort of a clinical exposition of some rowing, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those who are in the know of rowing, we're told that more than half the Laga crew are sub 6 minutes for their 2,000 metre on the Row Perfectly RP3 machine, which is perhaps a slightly more flattering machine than the standard Concept 2 you might find in your local gym, but those are pretty good scores to have in the boat. You'd be happy to have those people in the crew with you.
Yeah, you certainly would. And here, now they're able to really back off and just row at sort of half to three-quarter pressure and let the boat do a lot of the work and just sit still. It's not like they're not working so lightly that they're recovering already. They're not. They're still having to work quite hard to maintain the speed, because if you don't push hard, it goes slowly and it gets very heavy. So it's always worth keep working even when you're quite a long way ahead.
Absolutely. So Jürgen van der Hoorn just glances across, admiring the handiwork of the crew from Delft Studenten Roy Verheening Laga, the A crew from that club from the Netherlands. Happy to cross the line and get a clean first run at the Henley track today. It's Tuesday, first day of our 6-day regatta competition, as they drop their oars and wait respectfully for Southampton University to finish their row. Cheers for Laga as we confirm that they go through to the next round, and acknowledgement of great row from Laga from Southampton University. Very sporting, a win for Laga.